The Sunday Sequence Break.
Hold on. I'm not decent.
Hola.
Go away, Internet.
Right.
Hi, everyone.
Hey. Well, decent or not, it's time. It is Sunday, April 19th, 2015. This is episode number 141 of the Sunday Sequence Break. And this week we're doing Demon's Crest.
Without pants.
Without pants, but with a bunch of our special guests. We have BroedgeMan.
Hi, everyone.
And we've got Axel.
Hello.
And we've got Povondra.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, gentlemen.
And we have our hosts as usual, myself, Fiesel. And we've got the great Gildersneeze.
Hello.
You like that? We did the host first, or the host last and the guests first. You know, that's because that's how we feel about it.
And I completely appreciate that effort.
Yeah, the guests.
Yeah, it's pretty flattering.
It's
great.
Professional.
Very professional.
You
All
actually
right.
have that here. Get back.
A little bit of professionalism. All right, well, speaking of that, let's get professionally right into our next segment here and be way ahead of our splits, because that's how good we are at this show by now.
This is a speed run, right?
This is a speed run. We're going to speed run through the show.
You gotta go fast.
Yeah,
Already saving time?
Already, well, okay, let's see if we we can use up some of this time in the recap, though. Let's see, what order we usually do these in? I guess I go first in the recaps most of the time, but I'm going to let Gilder start us off.
Oh, hey, whoa, fancy. Most of my speedrun stuff has been off-stream this week, as I did purchase, I got donated a copy of Grand Theft Auto 5.
Oh.
And that's been a hell of a lot of fun, so I've been playing that casually on stream, a little bit of multiplayer with friends, but Demon Head stuff is offline. I'm trying to get to the point where I don't need to warm up for 2.5 hours before attempts, but that game defies every effort at that, so lots and lots of off-stream drilling. Route 9A still continues to be a rather confounding piece of crap. So, but sub 20 attempts will resume hopefully next week if I have time. Other than that, I've been looking for a job and killing myself with that. So, been a bit of a boring week for speedruns for me, but a bit of a fun week for multiplayer at night.
Well, that's good. You got some gaming in at least.
Yep.
Not all time-wasting stuff like looking for a job.
Yeah, I know. Just that crap.
All right, this week, what have I been doing? I ran Wizards and Warriors some. I did more attempts at any percent. I keep taking the time down a little bit, and as I get a new PB, every time I realize that there's even more time that can be saved. So all my estimates for what kind of time I want just keep going down the toilet. So keep doing it. I'm going to keep doing attempts at it because I feel like at this point, like the last run that I got just had a really terrible level in it, and I don't know if I want to make that the last run I do. But hopefully it will be make the cut for SGDQ. I haven't even checked if those were posted yet, but I believe today was the day they were supposed to be. Maybe. But,
I'm not sure.
Okay, well, I'm going to look into that. But first we'll do the show. Yeah, so yeah, if that makes it into SGDQ, then there's going to be a lot more attempts of it, so I won't feel too worried about not having the kind of time I want on it now. Let's see, I also worked on a bunch of tutorials for the Big 20 race. That was probably what I spent most time on this week. There's been just a lot to do with that. We're getting down to the last third of them, I think. I think there's like 6 left or something like that. So we're getting real
Chat
close.
says postponed until Tuesday.
Postponed till Tuesday. Okay, well then I won't know yet. All right. So yeah, that was my week pretty much.
Productive, man.
Yeah, it was pretty productive, I think. Did some SGL, that was fun. All right, so let's see. Let's let BroedgeMan go first with his guest recaps.
Yeah, what did I do this week? Like, what everyone wants to hear. I played some Demon's Crest. I only did some minor categories like this week and tried to actually get some decent times in them because like those categories are actually pretty stupid since no one does them except for me, and so I came up with them. But yeah, I want to try to get some decent times in them, so I did that. Also, I finished Seeker of Evermore. Like it probably was last week Sunday, so I'm cheating here. But yeah, that's a fine, really fun game. I got through that really fine. And this weekend I was meeting up with my girlfriend. We were starting Kirby's Return to Dreamland. So we were probably starting that casually. It's actually also really fun. I'm like really big into the Kirby series, so that's like my last Kirby game I actually need to play now. So we were starting that. And well, I got her to watch Indiana Jones with me. And she actually liked that, so I'm pretty happy about that.
Which one?
The first one. We started with the first one. So the second one is gonna be a bit of a doozy since no one likes that. But yeah. What did I do else? Probably not much. Like I worked and like all the time went probably into Demon's Crest or like some glitch hunting with Exla or Povondra. So we found actually some neat stuff this week. Not huge time savers, but we found some stuff. Well, that's always nice.
Good.
So yeah, that was pretty much my week.
All right, well, that sounds good. And you played Demon's Crest, so that's always something we like to hear.
All that matters.
We do occasionally get the guests
this
like,
point.
well, I haven't played the game that you had me on for in about a month, but
Yeah, it happens. All right, cool. Povondra, what do you got for us? What have you been up to recently?
Well, unlike Gilder, I've actually been trying to lose my job, but I haven't been successful at that. It's really leaving no time. Yeah, I've played a bit of Hitman 2. I finally got it. Well, at least I've been able to beat one mission. So that's more than I had ever been able to do in the past 10 years. But sadly, I haven't been able to play Demon's Crest. I've watched Demon's Crest, though. And I really didn't expect so many things to have changed in the past 3 weeks. So now I'm really out of shape. So, but that's basically it.
All right. Well, it's a good reason to get back into shape for it, I guess. Cool. All right. And finally, Axel, what have you been up to recently?
Well, we was just how to put it. Me and BroedgeMan just went together in a Skype call and we're like, you know, let's just find a couple of strats, and a couple of strats actually appeared out of nowhere. between those strats, there was even a soft lock. So that's always fun to do because we actually thought they were never a way to soft lock Demon's Crest, and now we found a way to soft lock it. It's impossible actually.
Wow, that's a good find.
It's
well, you can't do it in a run, but
yeah, it's impossible to do it. So. Well, that's one.
That's not unfortunate.
No, I said that is fortunate.
Oh, okay.
One of the things I've been doing recently is learning offline Titan Souls, because it seems like a really short speed game, and it's pretty new, so the findings on that game will be pretty impressive overall. Actually, I got a call. Well, not a call. It was more like a message. Maybe people who don't know that are people that are inside the Speedruns Live IRC doesn't really know, but there is like a Spanish branch for Speedruns Live. and it seems like they are actually organizing a Spanish marathon. And so if people actually wanna join the marathon, well, it's in Spanish. So if there is some people here that speak Spanish and actually speedruns games, it should be cool if they can join the marathon. That's another one.
Yeah.
When's it going to be?
It will be on May 1, 2, and 3, it seems, if I recall correctly. In the first 3 days of May, so check it out.
All right.
Do you have a stream address or something like that we can throw into the chat?
Unfortunately, Lace is still on plan, so
Okay.
Okay.
they just have the form, but I will ask for that.
Who do
But
you-
anyway,
Give us a heads up, and we'll shout it out on stream next week.
Yes,
Sure.
please definitely let us know.
sure,
and-
thank you in advance.
Cool. Sounds good.
Well, one of the games I actually submitted was Street Fighter 2010. That's actually a game I actually submitted here 5 months ago when I got a sub 20 that was world record in that time. And recently, I think I saw another sub 20 speedrun, which is really, really fast, but still it's like 10 seconds or 8 seconds slower than my time. So I'm really like, I need to practice this game again, because after getting that world record, I haven't touched it in 5 months. So I will start running that game again.
Yeah.
And I think that's it pretty much.
Cool.
Okay. That's a pretty productive week.
Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, my goodness. So I guess that's all of us, right? We're going to save a lot of time on this split right here, aren't we?
Oh, I nailed it. World record pace.
World record pace. Boom. Well, let's move right into our game of the week. We're going to talk about Demon's Crest, and we're going to try to Yes. I hope you guys came here for Demon's Crest, because if you came here for something else, you're in the wrong place. But
Finally.
why don't we
Well,
if for someone who's
if you
never
came here
played
for
this game,
something else, you should stay.
yeah, exactly, because this is probably going to be
If you came for
better than
something
whatever
else,
you came for.
You better stay in your seat. This game is amazing.
Whatever it is you're playing, Demon's Crest is better.
All right, well, that's a pretty good introduction to the game. But for people who haven't played this game, why don't you give us a little introduction about what it's about, what's it like speedrunning it?
So yeah, the game is like, if you played like ghouls and goblins or something, he's like the most annoying enemy. If you know that one, the story is about him.
Yeah, those red devils in Ghosts and Goblins that fly
Red
around.
Arima in those games, and if you speedrun the game, I never played it, but well, he seems to be like the most annoying enemy of the game. So yeah, the story is pretty much him. And there are like 3 games actually about him. The first 2 were called like Gargoyles Quest 1 and 2. First one being on Game Boy and second one being on the NES. Although I think there's also Game Boy version for that. Well, I can't tell too much about those games since I've never played them. I always wanted to play the first one. But,
Gargoyles Quest for the Game Boy is a lot of fun. We actually have that in our records list this week.
That was a great game.
Yeah, the second one is also only in Japanese. So, yeah, well, I don't know if I get the chance to play that, except for like emulator. And yeah, other than that, this game is like an action adventure which has like an overworld with like 5 to 7 levels, depending how you play the game. And well, it's like every level has a boss, and well, pretty much every level has like a hidden boss in it. So you can like search for them. So in like a casual playthrough, you wouldn't probably find 100% on the first try. And there's also like a really early ending in this game. So if you just beat the right bosses for an instance, then you can like beat the game in, well, the world record is 11 minutes, but you would casually beat it in like under an hour. So yeah, so some people just played this and got that ending and said like, oh, this game is short, this game sucks. But no, it's not. And if you actually like play the game, then it's actually a pretty long and hard game. Like the bosses seems to be pretty hard for casual plays. I can't really tell it. I got really slowly into speedrunning this game. I used to do like runs on PAL version stuff till I actually bought myself an US version, an US console. So I got really slow into that. Alright. How did you actually get into speedrunning this game? Excellent, Povondra.
Well,
Axel, go first.
okay, thank you. I was like, who says what? Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna wait, but you started, so go on, please.
Well, I started to run this game when I saw a pretty high time on SDA. So I was like, yeah, let's just give this game a try, since I played this game a lot casually back in the day. And when I got a run, it was like a really bad run, and I was like, nah, I want to get a better time. A couple of runs later, I got a 48, and when I got that 48, I was like, something clicked on me really late. And I thought, you know, SDA is really like, how to put it? Maybe it's an outdated site with some records. So I thought that maybe I should search for runs on YouTube. And then I did the searching and found BroedgeMan's time. And I decided that this game was actually really hard, because when I got a 48, he was already on 44. And that was like 4 minutes ahead of my time. And like, you know, this guy actually seems like he will do better than me and running this game. So I will, instead of running the game, I will try to help the community. And that's why, yeah, and that's why to this day, I haven't run this game for quite a while. Actually, I haven't run it in maybe 1.5 years. But I've been searching for strats all this time. Like every minute I have, or every idea I have, I'm doing researching. Actually, it's the word. I'm doing researching. I'm doing tests. I did a couple of theory tests actually 3 weeks ago, I think, and there was a couple of interesting findings, but those were not mine. They were like from the last task that was made by Millie Hell, which huge shoutouts for him, because he found like two or three strats that actually got a lot of attention. Like here in this one, that slide with the gargoyle, with the ground gargoyle, actually saves 1 second, if I recall correctly. And that we thought at first that was task only, and no, it's not actually task, but it's frame perfect. It's not too much of a big deal if we if you miss that strat, but it's actually pretty helpful.
It's not task, but it is frame perfect.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, even though it's frame perfect, you can pull it out just with
pull it off.
Practice. You can pull. That's the thing.
We won't discuss frame perfect pullouts. That's a whole nother show.
But yeah, it's I don't know how to put it, but it's pretty helpful overall.
Okay, so you've got some things. You guys have some things written down here about this history of the speedrun scene for this game. I guess Lucid Faya was Faya. I never know how to say that. Had the run on SDA for a while.
He still has the run on.
Oh,
SDA,
he still does.
Yeah.
Okay.
That actually got me into like speedrunning.
Right.
Yeah, like he did like he did a route.
Right.
He did like a route. It wasn't like a particularly good route, but he had a route. So that was actually was going for in like a run. I was like, why does he do that? And
yeah.
Well, the route seems so bad, and it actually was. But yeah, that's why I actually started running this game. I was like, oh, I can do that better. And that's how I really slowly got into that. Actually, it took me quite a time to beat his time, even though I had like a much better route.
Okay.
But yeah, he still has to run. I tried to record. I had like a lot of problems with like recording and put it on SDA that way. And on some point I just said screw it, since like SDA is not like a big thing for records anymore. So I was like, okay, screw it. I'm just gonna record it.
But I definitely understand the wanting to get to at least update things. I mean, if something's sort of outdated, to want to try to record something better than that. But yeah, anyway, at some point, this got run at AGDQ. The Seawolf ran this at one of the AGDQs.
Yeah, I think he did it twice.
Twice, was it?
I don't know. It might be in like a bonus stream or something, but he did it twice. And like on someone, he actually was really close to beating my actual record for the time. So that was actually pretty neat. He actually got a really good run in one of them.
All right. And then you mentioned Mercury Cancel and Grey One Early. Yeah,
so that's like findings of me. Like Mercury Cancel is like the only real glitch in this game. It's well, you have 2 frames to do it. I can never say it's frame perfect, but you have 2 frames to do it, and it saves like you do it twice in a run, and you can save like 14 and 16 seconds because of that. But I can go into that later. And Grion Early is just a route change. It saves like 10 seconds, but you have to do. Grion is like a hard boss. If anyone played this casually, it's the wolf, and well, everyone has problems with that. But we actually found a real good strat, and actually, like Lee Hulk, he also found like a much better strat than I did. Like it's much more safe. I really can get it consistent now, but because I used to really lose a lot of runs at Grion, just because it's like pretty hard. Okay. Yeah, that was like the major route change from Seawolf or my other runs before that.
I see. And then you mentioned a couple other runners here. J to the AKE was running any %.
Oh yeah. That was actually any % is like a really stupid category.
Well, it's really short, and you don't see much of the game, so I definitely understand.
You do level 1 a lot, because level 1 is so RNG heavy.
Yeah.
And pretty much everything in any % is just RNG related, except for like one fight. So yeah, but I had a really great time like fighting about that record. We were actually like every day we were getting another record in that category. It was really fun. Like my record before that, before he actually joined any %, was like 12:30 or something. And now it's down to 11:13 because he found some strats that I don't know why I didn't think of that. I didn't like look at the boss damage, so he actually does another like other strats for the final boss, which are way faster. And then we cut it down by optimization. But the record of that is actually still on the American version, so you could like easily save 6 seconds just if you use Japanese version.
Just from text differences?
That's actually really stupid. Yeah, a really stupid reason.
There's a much better reason.
Okay.
Yeah, the first boss in the game, in American version, he takes 6 hits, and you have to time the jump perfectly. In the Japanese version, for some reason, he only takes 3 hits, and you can just mash, and he will die. I don't know why. The rest of the game is completely the same. But
it's all the same?
Yeah, it's all the same. Like, for one day, I was like checking if there are actually any difference, and I was like, why is the first boss so much different? I don't know why, but he is, and that's like 6 seconds faster, and the text is also faster. I never timed the text, but it's like probably like about 12 seconds. Well, plus the 6 seconds for the first boss. Text doesn't matter too much, since you always have to wait for the boss like to disappear from the screen. Oh, and the major difference between Japanese version is that he actually wears pants on the cover of the US version. I don't know why, but I thought I might bring this in here.
Just on the cover art to the game, they put
I don't know why.
Wait a minute, this is the no pants edition.
Yeah, that's why we run the Japanese
US version. Not welcome here.
Wow. Okay.
That's why we don't run that. That's like the main difference. We don't care about the time saves.
Well, the pants create drag.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know why they went with the pants.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so the let's talk about the categories here. We already mentioned that any % is pretty short. It's still about it's like 11 minutes to do a run of that. Current record in that 11:13. Who's the record holder for any % currently?
I hold like every record right now, but Lee Hulk is pretty much gonna wreck my time probably in 100% again, since he wants to go into that. And he had like the record for the couple of weeks, and he got into the game like in about a month. I don't know how he did that. So he just wrecked my time in that in like 3 months, and in like 3 weeks. I don't know how he did that. So I'm like, he probably is gonna beat my time.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
it's like
actually,
really I'm like better at grinding out a game, but I just played this game like for such a long time that I actually have good times now. Okay.
Yeah, Hulk put everybody to shame.
Yeah.
Hulk is a beast,
Really,
actually.
really
It's really a
beast.
beast.
Yeah, the Hulk was the person who had the 100% run that you beat with this run, the 41:38 that we're watching right now.
I beat that 2 weeks ago now, indeed. But that actually
Hulk was the first one to
cut
get
down
a
my
42.
yeah that actually cut my old record before Hulk's run was actually 42:30 or something, like a minute over my time now. And I like went a week into running this game again. I beat it. I just got so lucky. I'm gonna try to beat the time again, but I don't know. There's a new strat at the final boss where you can save 40 seconds. Maybe if I can pull it off. It's just way too hard though. But that's like the goal to go for now. I want to go into any percent again. Like, it's fun like running, but it's like once you get to a certain level, it's just one of those games where like RNG is everything.
Yeah.
Just because it's so short. And
So short, it's just reset for bad RNG all the time.
Yeah, pretty much. And level 1 in general, in every category, is just like so RNG heavy. There are 2 bosses in level 1, which are one of the biggest RNG points in the game. So you just end up doing that over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, running the game is pretty fun, but going for attempts, I don't think so.
Yeah, 100%. Because of that, it's like the main category in this game. That's why everybody should just go into 100%.
100%. Okay.
You might start with any percent, but well, bosses are hard in every category. You have to live with that.
All right. Well, why
You
don't
will
you?
play a lot once you start this game.
Yeah, 100% you mentioned, but what's involved in that? There's a bunch of things I know you can collect and equip and whatnot, but what all counts for 100%?
Well, you need to kill. Well, you basically need to get every item. That's pretty much it, and that's the only way to fight the Phalanx 3, the final boss. That you can actually skip like one item or so, but you will just get every item, every like life upgrade, talisman, and whatever there is. Beat every boss with that. And yeah, like I mentioned, the secret bosses in every stage, you're fighting all those. And there's actually a dark demon. Anybody who played this game casually, there's a dark demon, like a true final boss. But you will only beat them once you beat like the whole game. Wait for the credits, then you will get a password, and if you enter that, then you can beat the dark demon. 100% does not do that, since like all SDA rules didn't want you to reset, and like none of the Demon's Crest runner actually wants to find the dark demon since he's way too hard.
And you have to watch the credits too. You're saying after the credits?
Yeah, you would
have to
watch the credits if you want to beat the dark demon.
Huh.
But
Yeah,
we don't.
You get the password. That's it.
Yeah, actually, some people say that what we do isn't really 100% because we don't beat the Dark Demon and we don't get the Infinity Crest or whatever you want to call it, or Heaven Crest, I don't care. But they are all mistaken. They are all wrong. We beat it's 100%, not 99 or 98 or anything. The Dark Demon thing, it's an extra mode. It's a different... yeah, you unlock that extra little game just for your efforts. And if anybody disagrees, they are wrong.
Okay.
It's just bonus content, basically.
To that guy, you would have to like farm for potions or somebody. Well, there's actually somebody on YouTube. I could never contact that guy who actually is really good at the Dark Demon. But that's like the only person I know who actually can fight the boss without any potions.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
I only beat him once.
Yeah,
And I don't expect
I don't know
to ever
how
do
he
it
does
again.
that. He actually can beat like the Dark Demon with Fire Gargoyle or something. I don't know how he does that. And also, if you enter that password, you would get after 100%. You actually get like a really OP Gargoyle who can pretty much do everything every other Gargoyle can, and he's even better than that. So that's the only thing you wouldn't get in a regular 100% run. You would just get the password for it.
All right. So let's talk about some of these other categories.
Okay, yeah, I pretty much just came up with all of them since I wanted to do like something else.
Okay.
None of the other runners ever did a run of this, but like they are kind of.
Yet.
Yeah, I would have liked to do that, but so there are like 4 endings in the game. One of them is beating the game 100%, which is beating Phalanx 3. I was mentioning. One of them would be the true ending if you beat Dark Demon, that I also mentioned. Any percent would be the bad ending, since I mentioned like you can finish the game really early if you just beat like 4 bosses or something. And there's a normal end if you pretty much do every stage and do a boss in it, and then just go to the final level and beat the game. That's like the normal ending is usually the most sad ending ever, since if you forget something in 100%, you get that ending, and you get like, oh no, shit. That's why I saved so much time earlier or something.
I see.
Yeah.
But
Also,
yeah,
we should mention that happens to everyone, every single runner of this game, as far as I know.
yeah, there are certain items you can use forget so easily.
Has gotten to the ending forgetting something.
Right. I can imagine. There's a lot to collect.
I forgot a balloon one time and I was pretty mad actually.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, in his previous run, well, actually in the previous world record by the Hulk, he pauses at the beginning of the last stage just to make sure he has everything.
Yeah.
That's how scary it is.
Okay.
Another thing for normal end like would be that category is also like as bad as any percent, because in normal ending the run is longer, like twice as long as any percent, but you actually have less health because you don't fight a certain boss where you actually get health. So yeah, that run is pretty stupid to go through because most of the time you will just likely to die.
All right. So what's the boss rush?
Boss rush is pretty much you using the final password you get after beating them for 100%. I was mentioning, so you go through every stage, beat every boss with that OP gargoyle. It's like really fun, that category actually. There's not a lot of RNG in that, since you like all of the bosses are usually RNG because they go out of your range, like fly up to the screen and you can go to them, but you can just like follow them and screw the shit out of them. So it's just pretty funny to do. Yeah, it's not well optimized, my run, but well, screw it. You also fight the Dark Demon in that category, so if anyone wants to see that, that's your run you want to do.
All right,
Actually,
and then
that run is like the crowd pleaser, because everybody complains that there is no Dark Demon, so they can just go and see that one.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Firebrand percent. So is that like a low percent kind of category? You're basically just using the basic Firebrand form?
Low percent is a neat way to put it. Yeah, it's basically a challenge. Like there are like all the forms you can choose, and but there are also other shot types. And usually the shot types they will get used in a run, but not too much. So there's like basically Firebrand can do anything on its own with its different shots, except for dashing, where you're like dashing through statues. So that's like the only exception.
Oh yeah, you need to switch to the dashing form if you have to break something.
That's the only one you need to switch forward for bosses and like regular movement up and down or something. You'll just use Firebrand for everything.
All right, yeah, you don't use this flying
guy. It's just about harder than 100%. It's like a neat challenge if you want.
However, an actual low percent wouldn't really be feasible. I mean, it would be more like the any percent, because with Firebrand you cannot avoid getting a lot of upgrades, like health upgrades, the Velums, which are like the little bottles. Yeah, exactly, and the talismans, which really help. They change some of your...
You could actually do low percent if you would skip on one life orb, like one health upgrade in any percent, but it's just on your way, so you get it. It takes like half a second or something, but it really helps out.
You could really refuse to use the talismans, but that's about it.
Okay, so low percent is not really a possibility for this game. If you want something,
it could be any percent anyway.
You could do any percent, yeah.
Yeah.
Like any percent would be like you would save a half a second, so. If you want to improve the any percent record, go for that skip.
Yeah. But if you want to challenge yourself, play as Firebrand.
Yeah, Firebrand percent is like actually pretty fun to do. I was like trying to get a decent run of that, but I couldn't. Well, I just died like everywhere. It's pretty hard.
Actually, as soon as I improve my PB, I will definitely learn Firebrand %, if for no other reason, just to raise it.
I won't.
Oh, you should.
Good one.
All right, so we've already talked about how there's different Firebrand forms, or different gargoyle forms that you can be in. We saw the dashing guy, we saw the guy who flies, there's basic Firebrand. Anything else that's useful in the speedruns?
Yeah, well, the ground gargoyle, like the dashing guy, is the most, like, the base speedrunner of the gargoyles. And it's pretty awesome that you get it right after the first level, so after that you will use ground gargoyle for every section where he's faster. Because, like, he can dash, and that's just
fast horizontal movement. Makes sense.
Also, like, you can do, if you know Donkey Kong Country, like, you can do these roll jumps, and out of that you can do a jump.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much what you can do with the ground gargoyle as well. You can, like, dash and jump in midair. The only thing the ground gargoyle can't do is, like, he can't fly. He's the only, no, he's not the only one, but he's one of the two who can't fly. So you can't use him everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And also his attack is actually also pretty neat, since if you just do it like in the air, it does more normal damage, like 1 damage. But if you actually stand on the ground, it does twice as much damage. So that's gonna be used for like a lot of bosses. Just you want to hit them from the ground because it does twice as much damage.
Okay.
So that's like the ground gargoyle.
All right, and there's a couple different shot types as well. I saw that.
A few other gargoyle forms.
Oh, sure.
You
go
will
ahead.
actually. It's pretty nice in this game that you actually use like most of the stuff that you actually get in the run. We used to like skip about a couple of them, but you actually use everything in a worthwhile way now. It's pretty nice. So there's also like the air gargoyle who just can fly like upwards. So he's gonna be used for that. In a TAS, it would be faster to just you have like these tornado shots. It would be faster to jump on them, but it's just not fast for if you don't do frame.
Actually, about the shot types, if you play it casually, you may actually wonder why on earth would you even use some of them. The thing is, they are sort of like a legacy or of sorts. They were actually featured in the Gargoyle's Quest games, where you only had actual firebrands, so they were really helpful there. In this one, not so much, but they do get some use, and they allow for some pretty interesting strats in many stages.
I see. Yeah, I see that those tornado shots get a lot of use because you can use them like platforms. And I imagine for some of these boss fights...
They don't get used a lot, but we used to like never had a place for them. Now we have like 3 places where you use them. And one of them is actually
really
neat.
Use everything.
Yeah, we use everything. That's pretty nice.
This is a Mercury cancel, by the way.
What do you mean?
Mercury cancel. It's about to come.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can talk about Mercury cancel later.
Right. Well, we're about to get into the glitches and tricks, so we'll get to that in a moment.
Let's talk about the menu, like everything, like the items first.
Yeah.
So, yeah, about the tornado, there's like the wind room where you get like you do like higher jumps, and you actually fly a bit upwards, like if you don't do anything. Actually, if you use like the air gargoyle in those rooms, he doesn't get boosted from any wind because he's like immune to wind, which is like actually bad in a speedrun. So in the wind rooms, you would actually change away from him since he doesn't get the boost. And yeah, so that's the tornadoes. You have the claw to get to stick on the spike walls. So you can stick to spike walls if you just shoot a claw before that. That's gonna be used in one room. And what kind of different shot? Yeah, also you only have 1 shot on screen at a single time with normal shots. There, I believe, you have the Buster and the Claw. You can have 2 of them, but there's actually a talisman in
and
this
the
game.
tornado.
Oh yeah, that's right. You can have 2 tornadoes, and yeah, that's right. There's a talisman in this game, and one of the talisman is the hand. And if you have the hand, you can actually do 3 shots. So there's gonna be a lot. The task gets the hand really early, and you could technically do it, but it's just so hard. It's like there's an enemy.
Because it's below the water, and
you get damaged from the water.
Health. You get damaged, and you don't have the water gargoyle yet, so it's really tricky. I mean, you could easily get it, but you would die, so most likely. So it wouldn't really save time.
Save time like everywhere if you just would use the hand, because you can like do 3 shots and do pretty much everything faster. But like it's a frame thing everywhere on everything, but it's just way too hard to get that hand so early.
And
if you
the
don't
other
get,
thing
like,
is
any
that
life drops or something.
I mean,
We
aside
will
from
try
some
to
very
go for it.
and aside from some very weird exceptions, for most bosses you cannot really mash. They have a lot of invincibility frames, but there's some very weird exceptions to that rule. One of them I actually just learned about, but maybe we'll discuss those later.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the hand talisman. That's like the biggest thing route-wise, since we actually want to get that one in, but we can find a way so far. And the other talisman would be like the crown. You get twice as much money drops, which can really help in some weird categories. Or if you like start the game, you might buy some potions for the final boss. You would actually equip that to get some more money drops. Then
or if you're really bad at the school bash game, Trio de Pago, that's a very good way to get some extra money, to get some extra attempts at it, because it will troll you at some point.
Yeah, we might go into the skull game now. Yeah, that's like a really hard part of the run. I don't know. Like when I started this game, I don't know why the hell they made this a thing. There's this feature you can like punch into the background with Firebrand, which is used to break statues. Yeah. Or your headbutt or whatever.
You use it to open doors and things in these levels.
Yeah, stuff like that. And you can also
minor vandalism.
Actually, 3 mini games with this. One like level 1, level 2, level 3, basically all the same, just harder. And you need to do level 3 to get 1 life orb. So that's like a huge pain in the ass if you start the game. When I started to learn this game, I actually did it like right after level 1, even though it's like slower, but I just wanted to get that out of the way. I was messing up it so much. But yeah, you will just get better and better if you just do it all over. Like, I'm like really, it's like really easy for me now, and for some other people too, but it's so goddamn annoying if you start the game.
It's very difficult to do. I've tried this as well. So if you haven't played this, it's difficult because there's a long delay between when you press the button and when he actually bashes his head in, and you have to jump, so you need to time the jump and time the delay of your head bashing so you can hit a target that's just a certain distance off the ground, and you're running back and forth trying to hit them as they pop out, and it's just it really takes some muscle memory to understand how to do it accurately.
Oh yeah, it's just like
that's another thing. I mean, right now that BroedgeMan mentioned that he used to go there first. For a time there, I would do the same. And one of the cool things about the game is that there are some points in the game where the only real, the reason why you go to a certain stage and not another, it's because of the world map and navigation. So you wanna spend as little time as possible there, but really that's the only thing. So if you feel more comfortable with one stage, you can pretty much decide to risk a couple of seconds just to get more consistent at the game and do some things first, or for instance, you can maybe delay like Arma Part 2 if he's giving you a hard time, and not too much because you really need what he gives you, but he's very hard for at least when you're starting. It eventually gets easier, but you may want to get some extra health if you can.
Yeah, that's another reason why you could do the Skull Bash minigame early, since you get a life orb out of that. And the funny part about that life orb is you can actually skip it and still get the final boss. I don't know why. I didn't know that for a long time, but somebody, like, I saw a casual stream actually doing that because he couldn't do the minigame. He actually just went past it, and well, you still can go through the final boss, so you could like technically do runs without it.
But that wouldn't be 100%.
It wouldn't count, but it would be like practice if you like don't have enough money and don't want to waste all the time there or something.
Like it took me 15 years to find that minigame, and I still hated the final boss because I would get to him, and I played a lot of this game trying to find the extra heart container. and I never found that mini
Oh yeah,
game
that's
shop.
actually hidden on the world map. There's no destination. There's the destination for level 1, but not for 2 and 3. So you have to just fly to random places on the world map. Yeah, that might be the reason why they made it skippable.
Okay. Should we talk about RNG behavior and boss RNG?
Oh my god, this one.
Well, there's so much RNG on the bosses in general. Like I was mentioning level 1 but there's also a boss called Crawler later in the run, which
Yes.
he needs to open his eye so you can hit him, and he can just not do that for like a minute, well, or like 30 seconds or something. So he's a huge pain in the ass, and we was trying to go for RNG manip in so many ways there, but we couldn't find anything. So somebody will know how to do that. It would be
But you know what? I can swear he can waste a minute.
He can do that, yeah, indeed.
He can.
I know
he
it.
has done so.
They see me crawling, they hate it.
Every day, yeah, he's doing that so often.
And there's another thing about him. There's not only RNG to his opening the eye. As far as I know, there's also RNG because sometimes he will give you enough time to squeeze 3 shots in. And if you manage to do that twice, you can kill him 1 phase earlier. I mean, an average run would be 4 phases. I've only killed him in 3 phases twice. The Hulk did it in his previous world record, but I think BroedgeMan didn't manage to do so in the current one.
I usually don't go for it. It's even if he gives you a little good RNG with that, it's really hard to actually get the 3 hits in. I should try it though. Since he sometimes he just gives you 3 good eyes, and after that he just scrolls all day again. So you don't know.
Okay. And what does hippo refer to? That's what I want to know.
Oh, I don't know actually why it stands there.
But the hungry hippogriff.
We might actually start the bosses with that. So yeah, hippogriff. He's one of the RNG bosses in general. The first one. He's 3 times in the run. You might actually want talk about
yes.
Bosses right now. You take time. You fight him 3 times, and there's actually a pretty weird final hit on him. He needs 16. He has 16 damage health, and you can actually do the 15th and 16th hit right back to each other, even though he has iframes, invincibility frames. But for some reason, they don't count on the last hit. I don't know why. It's on every hippo though, and it's also, we just found this out this week. It's also on another boss called Flame Lord. It's also this way. On every other boss, it's not this way. I don't know why it's for those bosses in this way, but apparently. Yeah, we might just go into the bosses now.
Okay, sure.
So I also mentioned the similar fight, the JP differences. You used to have to really time your shots on similar, otherwise he wouldn't lower his head to fight him. But
the other thing
now you just have to mash.
Yeah, the other thing with the hippogriff is that he can fly up, and then you have to wait for him to come down. And if you really take too long, because he starts out as a statue, you bash the statue, and then it turns into a hippogriff, and then you can fight. But if you take too long, he will turn back into a statue, and that's pretty much a reset. I mean, but it shouldn't ever get to that point. However, he can decide to fly up and wreck your nerves.
Yeah, that's why, I was mentioning that's why the bosses are just so RNG heavy, because they fly just out of your range, and usually you can't go up to them. Early on in the game, you just can't do it, and later on it would just waste time. So that's why all the first bosses in the game are so RNG heavy. They just go out of your range and spam a certain attack, where they just then fly down again.
Especially
so the next boss who does that is Armor. You also fight him 3 times. The first time he's the other level 1 boss, who also just can fly out of the screen for no apparent reason and just do that. And Armor 2 is the biggest troll of them all. in my recollection.
Armor 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, Arma 2
Okay.
has 32 health, and he kills you in 3 hits, or maybe 4 if you do some route changes. But it's somewhat of an unfair fight in that regard. Sometimes he gives you great luck, and he basically just stands there, taking all the hits you can spam, and sometimes he just stays up there, looking at you from above, and just hanging out.
Hey, bro.
So
how's it
you're
going?
seeing right now the armor fight of my record, and that was like the best fight I've really ever had in that game. So you don't really see him trolling now, but you see
Yes,
that I'm actually going for the ground gargoyle, like the shot standing on the ground. So I got really lucky. I got so many ground shots in, like so often, like twice in a row there. That twice in a row is really rare that you actually get it, but I got it so often. So you don't really see him trolling right now.
Something worth to mention about the Grand Gargoyle is when you do a ground shot, instead of doing 1 damage, it deals 2 actually.
Yeah, that's why I'm going shots there.
And with Arma 2, that it's possible to kinda stun lock him, but it's really rare. No, it's not that possible, but it's rare to do it. To do a perfect, like I call a perfect stun lock, where he doesn't do any single attack and he just stand there taking shots. And this particular fight that BroedgeMan got in his world record is actually pretty good. It's actually the best fight I've ever seen.
Pretty good.
It's the
I
best
don't
fight
know.
anyone's ever gotten. I mean,
So lucky. So you just saw the Arma 3 fight actually. If you would do that casually, you would just use the air gargoyle there, or you should use it, since you can just fly up to him, even though you don't do 3 damage, but you get the demon fire from Grion, which you should never do in a casual playthrough first. A lot of people did it because like they didn't find Arma 3, like the hidden boss. So they just tried Grion, and usually it ended up being like they were buying a ton of potions to fight this boss. Because since you would like expect you'd use the better weapon, so most people just use the Buster since it looks better and you get it later in the game. But actually the fire, the first weapon you have, does like 4 damage on him, and Buster only does 1. So that's
so it
why
ends up taking like between, I don't remember exactly, but it only takes like 17 or 20 hits or something like that. He still kills you in 3, so you have to be very careful.
So
He's
dope.
really tricky. But maybe we should, I don't know, should we explain Green One now, or should we wait until
Go
it's
for it.
his turn?
Let's do it now, it's fine.
Well, the thing about Green One is, well, when he gets shot, he turns green, and he's invincible. If you are not at a certain distance, at least, he will shoot like an ice breath. In a way, he's pretty similar to the Fuzzy Bears in Super Ghouls and Ghosts. At least that attack is. And that attack will last as long as you are within range. If you're not at that, I mean, if you have certain distance, he can do 3 possible things. He can either growl and then jump, he can run at you, or he can run at you really fast. Hulk and BroedgeMan do a pretty cool strat that I have no idea how to pull off. My strat is basically treat him like a punch-out boss. So I wait to see what he's going to do, and then I react to it. It actually is pretty similar time-wise. I think mine is a bit faster, or at least it was a bit faster in one run that I compared against, but it's very unreliable. There are some bosses that you can try different ways of, you can use different strats, and they pretty much work out the same as long as you end up in similar positions. Griwan is one of them.
By the way, I don't think we actually talk about the magic frames.
Oh, yeah, we can talk about
yes.
fire now, yeah. Might as well go with that. Sure.
Yeah, well, there is this thing that Reg called a magic frame, whereas when you enter to certain boss rooms, you can still have the frame perfect. I don't know if it's frame perfect or
It's frame perfect, yeah.
It's frame perfect. Okay, thank you.
That's why we just mesh.
Yeah, where you can actually made an input on that room before actually entering fully to it. And with some bosses, like the first flyer and
the second flyer.
It works on both flyers, yeah.
And both flyers work?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You can mash really fast to pull a one shot, and you can actually hit him, which is kind of, it's faster because you get one shot out of him, because some bosses like the flyer have a really long intro cutscene. So instead of watching that auto cutscene and having that shot to be done, you have already one shot on him, so that actually saves some time. And one of the strats we found, and this week, was on Skula, on another boss. But this one is actually a little weird, because if you are at certain height and you shot, the shot supposedly should hit him. Shoot the head of what the hell I'm talking about? Should hit the head of Skula.
Skula has two parts, like a head and the body, and you have to kill both of them. So that's why he's referring to that one in particular.
Yeah, and if you are at a certain height, and instead of hitting the head, the shot go past through him. You can hit him. However, if you jump higher and do that same shot, you can hit him for whatever reason. When you think that you can't actually hit the
really
boss,
weird, yeah. You shoot like much higher than the boss actually is.
So it was another finding, but it was like really weird that you have to jump higher instead of jump lower.
It doesn't really save much time, since you need to kill the body anyways, and the body has more health than the head. But it's still pretty interesting. And if you would actually have the Fang, like Talisman, where you do twice as much damage, you get that really late though. If you would have the Fang and would shoot the head with the legendary Gargoyle, then you would actually kill the head before the cutscene stops, and the game doesn't know what to do. So the boss is just gonna start his attacking animation, but the cutscene hasn't stopped, so you can't move, and so you're just basically standing there without any ability to move, and the boss is just gonna wreck you. So that's pretty weird. It's like kind of a soft lock. It's not really a soft lock, since you can just like take the time and get wrecked by the boss, and after that you will just die and go on like normally. But it's still pretty weird that you
and since we're mentioning Skula, we might as well say that there's also a way to save a very small amount of time, and it's not really hard, so that's good. You can make the last shot kill both the head and the body at the same time. Otherwise you have to wait for one to die, and then you have to kill the other, and they have a
like 1.5 seconds.
Exactly.
It's only pretty bad if you actually hit the body and the head just falls down, because the head is like really tiny, so you can't hit him. And sometimes he just goes all out and you can't hit him for, I don't know, 10 seconds. So that's like the risky part of that. But usually it's fine if you pay attention. Like if you can only just kill the body, and after that the head drops down, so you can actually hit him then. So that's something. So
I wanted to mention one thing about the magic frame shots. Even though it's only one frame, and I find it easier to perform than the Mercury cancels, which are supposed to be a 2-frame window. Because for those, since you actually shoot during the screen transition, you can sort of work on like setups that more or less work. In the case of the Mercury cancels, I haven't been able to find anything consistent. But then again, I don't really practice stages alone or moments in particular, just play the whole game. So that may explain it.
Yeah, you should, if you want to go for the Mercury cancel, you should practice them. It's really something. You can lose a lot of time if you mess them up too early. But let's go back into the bosses now. We didn't talk about Povondra yet, so we actually have a comparison for that. Like the boss entrance is pretty weird. Like the game is laggy in general, pretty much everywhere. So you have to come up with some lag reduction strats, and like the beginning of the boss. For some reason, it's way faster to just like I start the fight by climbing up, and after that I'll drop down. Like you see on the left side right now, there I actually go into the slime and stand, and on the other I just climb up. And for some reason it's like it saves like 2 seconds or something. I timed that out to be 2 seconds. Like I don't know. It's a really weird reason. You just stand in the slime and it's so much faster there.
And that's all from lag? Wow.
It's all from lag, yeah.
The very tricky thing, and this is a thing all throughout the game, is that, for instance, with the Ovnunu climb, you can, when you're playing it, it's very hard to tell if it's faster, slower. It really feels the same for when you're playing it. It's only when you compare the times that you start realizing how much time you're really losing out of lag. And I believe that in the future that may be one of the things that get really changed around in the game, because there are many rooms that are a lag nightmare. If we could find ways to reduce lag in many of those places. I mean, some of the current lag reduction strats are somewhat luck dependent, but well, Ovnunu is one of the few ones that is sort of easily manageable, and you can manipulate him somewhat.
Yeah, there are like certain enemies in some areas you kill because they are like, it's just way too much, so the game lags. But if those enemies actually drop something, like an item, then the game still lags, so you can get like unlucky there. And like for the general Ovnunu fight, it's like for me it's like the most fun fight in the game. But there's also like a lot of RNG into it. He can like spit out 2 or 3 or 4 eyes at the same time, and you just pretty much have to get as fast as to rid of them as you can. So you're
and
trying
that fight
to
can go bad really easily. If you miss too many shots on the little eyes around you, that's very hard to deal with.
Yeah, that fight is... Sure.
May I add something about the lag?
Sure.
When I was doing one of my theory tests about a route change recently, one of the things I like to do actually is having that data that I could use for later. And there is this thing that on stage 3 on the jungle, every time that a bed spawns, it generates a lot of lag. But also when that bed spawns, there is like a little animation that comes with it that is a few leaves falling.
The span spots out of the forest, like out of the trees, and some leaves spawn there. Yeah, sure.
Those leaves actually generates a ton of lag, a really ton of lag. So it's better to stay the most up as possible, or maybe if there is a way to not spawn any bed, that will be actually awesome, because they generate a lot of lag. And there was something interesting going in stage 1 actually. On the second part where you are on, well, actually it's the first part. When you are heading to the hippogriff before doing the first visit, most of the time one of the runners we decided to do is fly the most high as possible, because when you're on the ground you just spawn enemies and they move and they do whatever the hell they do, shoot, jump, and spawn, and all of that generates lag. However, when you are at certain height, every time you do a wing flap, you lag 1 frame. You lag the game for 1 frame every single flap. But interesting enough, if you are too high, that happens. If you go a little low, you don't lag the game at all. But I found interesting that every single thing that you should use at at your favor to move faster, it actually keeps lagging the game at some point. So it's really weird to not weird, but it will be really tedious to find certain position to fly all the time in order to avoid that one lag frame every single flap time.
I should mention that the ground gargle also, like, if you do a dash, you create a ton of lag if the game wanted to. So you have like all these shadows behind you, and if there are a lot of enemies on the screen, you really shouldn't dash, even though in-game it would be faster. It just creates so much lag that it's not worth it. There are a few instances where you just rather walk than that.
Also, when you're on the ground gargoyle form, if you destroy a vessel with the dash attack, you generate a ton of lag. That's actually like one of the worst things you could do with the ground gargoyle, because with all the shadows he's forming, and with all the destroyed animation of the vessel and the drop the item drop, in case you got it, you just generate a really huge amount of lag.
Yeah, if you destroy a statue, you don't get one item drop of that, you get 4. So already, like that alone already lags the game pretty much.
This game is actually pretty famous on internet forums because it is a lag fest.
It is. There are like few rooms that are so heavy with that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about the rest of these bosses.
Yeah, it's actually to talk about Flame Lord. You just saw that fight pretty much. Yeah, that's actually pretty interesting how you want to kill that boss. The boss has 20 HP. Like the first form, it doesn't matter too much. You just pretty much kill it. And the second phase, well, first of all, it's pretty hard if you fight it casually. And well, you have to count the damage on him. Like you have to count how many normal shots and how many ground shots you do. And on the final hit, you want to die. You want to be inside of him. You want to like get hit, move into him, and then kill him. Because if he dies, he goes to the ground, and after that he has like a death animation. But he already spawned the item, so if you stand in him, you will get the item before, like within his death animation.
I should mention one thing about him. When you're counting, you have to keep in mind that even though when he transforms to his second form, he will not take, even if it will look like he's taking damage, but it really doesn't count until he's going up. While he's still on the ground, nothing really counts. I was having some hard times at first because I kept miscounting. So I kept getting hit, trying to get inside of him.
You have to wait till he does his first attack there. It's like pretty... It put me off in the beginning so much, but Seawolf actually told me he doesn't take damage until that first attack. It's pretty weird though. It really looks like it.
Yeah, and he's also hard. He will kill you at some point. Because you have very low health at that point, and you die, I think, also in 3 hits.
By the way, we should mention why do we suicide on the Flame Lord boss?
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's actually the only
one
death
instance of death abuse
Yeah.
right
now. Well, the thing is, when you are facing the Flame Lord, above of you there are trees that are burning, and Flame Lord has an attack that, well, it's not true because of that. We don't reset for that. I mean, we don't suicide for that. We suicide because once you suicide, those trees are gone. And once those trees are gone, they reveal a heart container that you can grab right after you suicide, so you can actually avoid one revisit to this.
Yeah, the old SDA route. Like he actually beat the boss first try, and after that he revisited this whole stage just for this life upgrade. That's
right
what you
now
like
we
would use normally.
Yeah, right now we only revisit 2 stages.
Well, you revisit level 2 as well, and level 1.
And 1, exactly.
Yeah,
those are the only 2 ones.
You revisit a lot of stages, but pretty much only because you need to kill both bosses, so you usually have 2 visits in each stage. but you have 3 for
Yeah,
1, 3 for 2, and 2 for 1, even though there's only one boss.
I see. Is that so you can get the boss's item and then come back in and use that item to get something you need for the 100%?
Yeah, indeed.
Yes.
Okay.
And you can't like really avoid those 2 revisits. Since in level 1 you have to start with that anyway. The game just puts you there.
Okay.
And well, you don't have an item for that. And we don't have a way to glitch into walls yet. Would be a nice find though.
I want to mention something though. It's one of the cool things about the route is that it's as if it were intended. Because, for instance, when it's time for the revisits, you have just enough bottles to buy the potions you need for the tricks that you need to perform. 2 for the mercury cancels and 2 for the sulfur potions to exit out of the stages. And the timing for that is just perfect.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the potions really. There are only 2 potions, or like 3 potions that are useful. One of them being the mercury, which originally it only warps you 1 room back, but there's actually a glitch with that. And there's the sulfur, which warps you out of the stage, which is gonna be used for both revisits. That's why you want to buy 2 of them. And the other helpful potion is gonna be the ginseng. If you learn the game, you should really buy at least 1 for the final boss, because that one fully heals you, and it's really, really, really handy if you have one of those.
All right. Well, we should really do the rest of these bosses because we're running out of time and we got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, let's just skip on phalanx then. Let's talk about the final phalanx, like about the new strat. Like the boss it's a really hard boss in general, but there's a task strat we saw, and we never could find like how to pull it off. But I found a way how to get like he takes 13 hits, and I found a way, which is still really, really, really hard. But you can get like 9 or 10 hits. I think 10 hits was the max so far. So how you can like squeeze in 9 or 10 hits really, really fast, like you see right now. You can just basically mash in front of him, but you have to like everything in him is like destroying you. You just saw the task fight, by the way. That's not how we could do it.
Right.
Like you can't
And
really
also-
move around there.
Also, as you can see on the TAS, and this is something that actually the Hulk did in his run, which amazed me, was that you can damage boost if you are very, very daring, and take damage, fly up to his face, and hit him, and then get out. And you better do it fast, because if he hits you with his body, you take 4 damage. And because you don't have any health potions, and it's the 3rd fight in a row that you do, you really can't afford too many hits.
Yeah, the boss.
Oh,
If you wanna do the boss, like if you do the first round, I really recommend buying 1 or 2 ginsengs for that. That's what I like used to do when I started this.
Actually,
There's one other thing,
Phalanx
actually.
3,
Yeah, go on.
well, I just wanted to add that actually Phalanx 3 is pretty hard in both speedruns and casual play. To be honest, it's not like, even though we speedrun this game for quite some time, it's not like we completely we are completely dominant on this boss. If he just decided to destroy the run, he will destroy it. So it's always
Yeah, I've been playing.
keep that in
I've been
mind.
playing this game for 20 years, and he still gives me a lot of pain. One thing I wanted to mention about the water level boss, just really fast. There's only 2 things you need to know. One is that keep your health up, because you don't want to use the water gargoyle on him. You want to use the legendary gargoyle. Even if you're taking damage all the time, it's still worth it, because he will die really fast. And the other thing is, if you can, you want to die inside of him as well, because you move really slowly underwater. So you want to be already where as close as you can be to the heart container. And that's basically it for that boss.
Wait, actually, you don't walk slowly in that particular water. For some reason, the game just lags.
Oh, that's it.
If you actually like wait,
that you start
if you
going
actually
fast
wait like
after
for 5 seconds, then the bubbles from the boss are gone and you can walk normally. It's really funny.
This is a lag fest, remember?
All right.
We don't need to talk much about the Dark Demon now. He's just like in general really, really hard, and you would never fight it without well, you wouldn't fight it in any category anyways, but in the boss rush. So I do it like with 3 gang things now, but you could like do it with 2, I guess. Well, as I said, there's like one guy on YouTube who does it without any. So if you want to be good at boss rush, learn this boss, because I didn't.
Yeah, this is a really fun game, with the exception of the Dark Demon.
Every game has its little exception to that rule.
Yeah, so it's pretty nice that we don't actually have to fight them.
Thank God we don't.
Yeah, like it was used to be SDA rules, but no one has a complain about that. Like none of the runners, at least. I know the viewers.
Only you, only people in YouTube with the comments. They are the only ones.
Indeed. All they want to see is the Dark Demon.
Please no. Never again.
So yeah, we might go into like the glitches. Well,
Sounds
kind
good.
of. There's only one real glitch in this, since the walls in this game are like true walls still. They know what to do.
We
were mentioning the Mercury cancel a lot earlier. So what you do is you buy a Mercury. That's the first thing, of course. And then as you pick up the item from a boss, you use it at the same time. You have 2 frames to do it. And if you do it right, you will still get the item from the boss, but you won't, like usually you would get warped out. But if you would do it right, then you would warp back 1 room. So you don't have to do another revisit for it. So we do it at 2. We do it at the belt boss. I'd like to call him Bonesaw, because he's like a skeleton, has a giant saw. Whatever. And we do it on him, and we do it on the stupid crawler. And even though this trick is the same, the hitbox of the items is the same, but they look so much different. Like the item of belt is just so much bigger. So if you are good at one of them, you're not really good at both of them, even though it's still the same window and stuff.
Yeah, and I'm sadly good at the one that doesn't give the best reward.
Yeah, and the route, if you actually get the one on crawler, is actually a pretty nice route. You can do them. But there's a huge a stupid thing about this glitch. Like you can save 14 seconds, sure. And if you do it too late, you will just not get it, and you will just not save the 14 seconds. But if you actually do it too early, you will get warped back 1 room and not get the item. So you will have to refight the boss, which is like, crawler is stupid enough, and if you have to do crawler once again, it's just pretty much rip on everything you just did.
And can we just remove that boss, please?
To give you an idea of how bad crawler is, on my PB, I was actually behind by like 40 seconds. And thanks to crawler, I still PB'd, because he was very nice to me.
Yeah. Okay, and
yeah, that's pretty much with Mercury cancels.
Yeah, that's like pretty much the only real glitch in this game. There's something called a pillar glitch in the tower. If you can get it like on the first visit, but it's like task only pretty much. So I can get it in the second revisit now, when we already have the air gargoyle, so we can move like up and down more frequently. And it's pretty precise, but you can like skip on a cycle on a certain pillar there. You're just about to see that, and you like zip into the pillar somehow, and you will get pretty much crushed by it, and then you can walk inside it. It saves about 5 seconds, and you can go for it once, but it wouldn't waste time if you don't get it. I have yet to get it in a run. I've got it like once in a run, but that was actually when I didn't know that was a thing. So I like was so hyped for that, so I spent the rest of the day like walking into the spikes right after that, because I was just so like, oh, this is a thing, god dang it. And then I lost all the time again. So that was like the only time I got it in a run, actually.
How much time are you saving by skipping that cycle?
Pretty much like 5 or 6 seconds. It's pretty neat time save there. Yeah, that's like the only time where you can get into a wall. There's another way to get into walls in the water. If you swim through a passage that's like tiny enough that you can like swim through it with a guard gargoyle, and when you get hit there, then you will stand inside you will have your head inside the ceiling, but that's really it. There's no way to tap into the ceiling with tornadoes or something. Even though like creating platforms should be a good way to do it, but no, not really.
Okay.
By the way, I have to go, actually. I have to go to the airport.
All right.
So before
fine.
I go, however, I want to say one thing. If anyone here is reluctant to try this game because of all of the things we have said about RNG, first of all, I don't blame you, but you should really give it a shot. I mean, as I said before, going for the world record can be a real pain in the ass. But other than that, I believe this is like one of a great race game precisely because of the RNG. Anyway, I won't know how to say it, but the difference in time can change more than you would think, and stuff like the mercury cancels or the magic shots, all of that, if you think about them as RNG as well, then it isn't so bad. I mean, it's not a short game, and it isn't really easy to speedrun, but there are many skill levels among the players that are currently playing it, so you can easily find somebody that you can compete against and slowly get better. And it's really fun that way because you don't really get as frustrated as before. So you should give it a shot in that respect. But that said, thank you very much for having Demon's Crest on the show. Everybody should try it because it's an amazing game.
Cool. Great.
Yes.
Thanks for being on the show.
Take care, Povondra.
No, thank you all.
Yeah, have a nice trip.
Yeah, no, I'm not leaving. I'm just dropping somebody.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. So what else do we want to show in this this list of clips?
Well,
here?
we got like the statue jump. We were mentioning that before. That's like a one-frame thing. I don't know. Was it actually on the show or was it before that? I don't know. But let's just talk about that again.
Sure.
Like that's another thing that was shown. Like we actually learned from the TAS, and he said he actually found that out when he was playing that casually. It's really a tiny thing, and I pretty much only want to talk about it because it looks cool. So you have a one-frame window. If you dash on a statue, you usually will get knocked back. But if you if you jump at the exact right time when you actually push the statue, then you will push the statue and do a normal jump instead. So it looks pretty nice. So it saves like a second, and if you jump too early, you just do a jump that looks pretty stupid. I call it the jump of shame now. But you will just lose a second, and if you get it, you save a second. So it's really a minor thing, but it looks pretty neat.
Okay. There it is.
Yeah, it's that.
I think we talked about everything. I don't know if you have like anything we forgot, Axel.
No, pretty much. I will say that we forgot about spells, but the spells are worthless. So
Spells are worthless. There you go.
Yeah, you just talked briefly about the spells. Then I don't know much about them. I just know that they are useless. There's something called magic in this game, though, but we didn't find anything useful with it.
Now, don't you have to slow down to use it? I mean, doesn't it stop the screen and stuff?
It stopped the
Yes.
screen.
Yeah.
There are like certain magic spells which damage enemies, but they don't really do much on bosses. So it's pretty useless there.
unfortunately, they most of the spells doesn't work casually, and they don't work at all with a speedrun. So they are you should just have to avoid using spells on this game.
Okay. Good to know. Good tip. So, okay, speaking of tips for people who are starting with this game, why don't we talk about learning this game in 3 easy steps?
Yeah, sure. So the first thing, I think most of the current runner actually watched my 100% tutorial of this game. It's like a year old now, I think, but it's not really outdated actually. Even more for the starting route. We do some fancy stuff now, but it's even like maybe like a second faster or something, some weird strats. But if you want to just like see how this route goes and like have some insight on it, you should watch the 100% tutorial. Even though it's pretty old, it's not really outdated. And another thing, like the second thing, I guess, would be there's the mercury cancel I was mentioning, the 2-frame trick. You should not do them if they save like 14 and 16 seconds. It's not a major thing, and if you are buying the Soul Force at the shop anyways, because that would normally be the time when you buy the Mercuries, you should just buy a Ginseng or two instead for the final boss, so you actually can finish a run. So that would be the tip. Just don't do that. Also, don't do Grion early. That, even though it saves 10 seconds, it's a really hard stretch. You would like practice a lot on that boss, and it's not too important if you start the runs. So just do armor before Grion. It's on the same stage, and I'm actually mentioning that in the tutorial. So yeah, just do that boss later on, then it's like fine. Then you will have the legendary goggle, and then this boss is like no deal. And the third thing would be you just have to know this game is hard. Bosses are hard in this game. You're gonna die a lot when you start this game. You don't have to get dragged down by it. Everybody dies. There are certain bosses where really everybody has problems with, like talking about Armor 2 or Flyer 2 or, well, the final boss in general. Those are usually the hottest boss in the game. And but once you beat Armor 3, you will get the legendary gargoyle, and after that, all the bosses are getting really easy till the final boss. Then you will have the armor, and you will have double HP, and then you will have like actually a decent attack in this game. So once you get to that point, you pretty much have a run, and at least till the final boss. And yeah, we were mentioning the skill bash minigame earlier. That one is also really hard. Yeah, you have to do this somehow. Or just, wait, I was mentioning you can skip on that. If you want to go for your early attempts, you might as well skip on that. It wouldn't be an official time there, but you still have like a run for you. And you might, if you just do it once in every one, you will get better at it. And once you start getting it, you'll not really, it's like driving a bike pretty much. I have like let this game down for like, I don't know, half a year or maybe even a year sometimes, and I didn't get worse at the skill mesh minigame. So that's something.
Yeah, once you learn it, you won't forget.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
So those are pretty much the things you have to look out once you want to start this game.
All right. So yeah, definitely check out that tutorial. We linked it in the chat, and yeah, practice that Skull Bash minigame.
Yeah.
But practice it in the video game. Don't practice it in real life, please.
Right.
Don't bash skulls in real life. Yeah.
Yes,
It's a
please.
good step.
With your head at least.
Oh
That's a
man,
good
I hate
tip.
this speedrun. Jesus, it gives me a headache.
If it helps, then why shouldn't you do it?
I suppose.
All right. Great. Do you guys want to stick around and read off some records with us?
I would not stay around because I have to work in like 4 hours. But yeah, it was a great time having here, like talking about all this Demon's Crest stuff.
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. This is a game that I really like.
If there are like some runners, I think every one of the Demon's Crest runners would help you if you want some help. Just contact us on Twitch or whatever. We would all like to help you. We just want to have like more people. Like races in this game would be so awesome, but we
Please join.
rarely do races. Sometimes we do, but we should really do it more often, since that's like what this game is destined for, considering all the RNG.
They're asking you nicely, so you heard them. Get in there.
Yeah, just type me in Twitch and I will ask you tomorrow, because right now I just want to go to bed.
Okay. Great.
I had a great time here, though. Like, really, thanks for having me on the show. And I was actually like asking, when did I ask? Like Monday to be on the show?
Yeah, it was just this past Monday.
Yeah,
it's good timing.
We have like empty space here. Let's do it. That was like pretty awesome. And thanks for Povondra and Axel for commentating with me.
Nah, thank you for inviting me, man. I really appreciate it, actually.
Yeah, great. Well,
Absolutely.
if you want to stick around, we will be doing records after this. If you don't have to go to sleep yet.
If you allow me, even though my English is pretty bad, I will stay.
That's okay. We'll give you the short ones to do. It's fine.
Okay, it's fine. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I will give my best.
All right, I linked the doc in the chat there. Let's hit this split and move on into our records.
All right. Okay. So I'm gonna say see ya to you then, and still have a great time today. Have fun with the records, and we'll see you like at some point.
Yep.
Take care,
have fun.
Bye-bye. Cool. All right, well, let's do some records.
Yes.
Here we go. So, oh, I just lost my records list.
Please,
All right,
please,
there it is. Yeah, good. Yeah, come on, please get on top of it. All right, Gilder, why don't you start us off here with this first one?
With Beetle Adventure Racing? I'd
That's
love
the one.
to. All right, it's Beetle Adventure Racing on the N64 bonus circuit in 3051 by Andy Panther. He says, I took the world record back with the first sub-31 ever. No major mistakes and 3 best splits. What an amazing run. Yes, there is in fact a faster time on EMU, but that is because of inaccurate emulation. I hope I can show this category off at ESA.
Okay.
Congrats to Andy Panther there.
Yeah, congrats.
Oh, speaking of hard games.
Speaking of hard games, this next one we have here is Cobra Triangle. This is any percent run in 1709 by Kananaphone. He says, this run was insane throughout, no blemishes at all. The shark gave me good luck, and I still barely killed it in time. Oh boy, would that have been fun if I screwed that up. Yeah, fortunately. But this is fun. This game is by Rare, another Rare isometric game. It's like Snake Rattle and Roll, except you're on a boat. No, not really.
Yeah,
I think this controls more like RC Pro-Am, but...
It does, and it's stupidly hard.
It's pretty hard. I mean, I think it starts out kind of decent, but then some of these missions, you got to be really accurate with how you... with how you drive.
Up,
it ramps up in difficulty.
Yeah, the old catchphrase, well, that escalated quickly, really applies to this game. It gets pretty brutal, but it's a lot of fun to play as well. So.
And there's a shark that you jump?
Yeah, absolutely. Game jumps the shark immediately. Well, maybe not immediately, but pretty close to immediately. I don't know, I played a lot of it when I was a kid and swore a lot at it when the parents weren't around, so...
Man. Boom. So we've had a couple runs of this from Kananaphone since he started running it a while back.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks like there's finally one that he's actually happy with. And check this shark out.
Waiting for shark.
Right, you gotta wait for him to come to the surface, so I imagine that that's gotta be frustrating. Look at that. Boom, right there on the second cycle. He gets it. Cool. Well, congrats, Kananaphone, for that. I wonder if he's going to keep playing it, or if that 1709 is enough to satisfy him. We'll see. Next run we got here is a Genesis run. This is called Cutie Suzuki no Rings Ide Angel. Okay, that's for the Genesis, Japanese game, of course.
That's not Ringside Angel?
Hold on. Ringside Angel. Yep, it is. Ringside Angel. No Ringside Angel. Yes, there we go. Thanks for that.
Well, it's a wrestling game, apparently.
It's a wrestling game, okay.
Here, so.
Now we understand the context. So 1816 is the time by Cornshack. He says, like most pro wrestling game speedruns, the goal is to get the opponent counted out as quickly as you can. The stiffness, as well as some pretty confusing controls, does not make this task easy. You must complete the tournament in order to become the grand champion, and this run contains a few tense and clutch moments. This run is beatable due to a few mistakes and the random AI, but overall, very solid run. Cool. Well, congrats, Cornshack.
Indeed.
Ringside Angel. Okay, I'm writing that down. Hold on.
No problem.
All right. I was just expecting it to be a very Japanesey name, and I didn't realize that it's perfectly pronounceable stuff. Okay. Let's see. You want to read off Doom 64 here? Or give that to our guest, maybe?
By all means, please.
Yeah, Axel, why don't you read off Doom 64, if you don't mind?
Yeah, we have a round of Doom 64 by Gravitron, the category any percent B channel. And he said, this round had no major mistakes and overall was extremely clean. I lost a bit of time in the final map because of bad RNG, but other than that, there was nothing regarding time loss. I could theoretically get about 33:45 or so, but this run is definitely good enough for my standards. I will move on improving to Watch Me Die difficulty run now.
Cool.
Awesome. So that's Grav yet again improving one of the Doom records. Been really going at this hard the last couple months, couple weeks. We've seen a bunch of runs from him of it, and so it's nice to see that he's sticking at it. This is a really fun game, and it's hard to, unlike games where it's like a standard platformer where you can pretty much tell this, I did this level as fast as I can. There's like so many minor things you can do to save time in this. It wouldn't surprise me to see somebody just continue to work on this for years, because there's just that many things you can do to go just a little bit faster. So congrats, Graviton. This next game, we have video of this. You'll like this.
Oh man, this might be the dragon-based shmup we've been talking about.
This might be the one we never stop talking about. So this is Dragon Ball Shenron no Nazo for the Famicom. Any percent run in 1709.61 by Daka. He says, this was a cleaner run than my last attempt. Had some bad luck as I did not get the 9 super wind waves, but I got a lucky cupcake in Rabbit Gang 2 that really turned the tides. Solid overall run, but I can still save plenty of time. So this is, what was it, Dragon Fighter? Dragon Power? Dragon Fighter? It was one of the, it was Dragon...
Dragon... Oh, dang it, now I can't remember either.
I get Dragon Fighter and Dragon Power mixed up. I think Dragon Fighter. Yeah, and it's this is the Japanese game. They've skinned it to be a Dragon Ball game, so that's why it's got the funny title, but it's the same game.
In Japanese, and then it was in the English release. It wasn't.
Right, they just genericized the character a bit, so it wasn't meant to be.
Turned him into a monkey.
Yeah, into a monkey. That headband. He does look like a monkey, right? Anyway. Bizarre game. I don't know.
Very.
It basically speaks for itself.
I don't know. I do prefer the English cutscenes though. The "thank you very much" is pretty good. I made sandwiches.
It's certainly got a sense of humor.
Indeed.
Cool. Well, congrats,
This guy's a jerk. These guys were just practicing their like staff movements, and he just comes in and kicks their ass for no good.
Right, yeah, he's just practicing, and they're not even fighting anyone. They're just like standing there waving their weapons around in place, and he just walks up and takes them out.
They're just drilling, and he just comes in and beats the crap out of them.
Not very nice.
They're just minding their own business.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So next one we have, this is Strangely Appropriate. Axel, you want to read this off since this is a gargoyle-based game?
Wow, I'm actually surprised. This is Gargoyle's Quest for Game Boy for the category of any percent with a time of 27:04 by Unusual Cook. He actually was on the BroedgeMan chat recently, but anyway. Save time sometime compared to my previous PB due to playing better and slightly faster encounters. This game will be at ASA and hopefully in SGDQ. Nice. I would like to see that.
Yeah, I like this game a lot. This was probably my favorite Game Boy game.
This game when I was a kid. Yeah, definitely.
It was so good. It had like a big kind of open world sort of thing. I mean, it's an adventure game where you get different power-ups that extend your wing and let you, grip onto spikes and things like that. So
it was the first game I tried to sequence break ever as a kid. Like I kept trying to get places I shouldn't have enough wing power to get to.
And you can, because it has this wing stretching. Every time you come into, or I think it's come into the wing animation, and then out of it, and then back into it again, you get just like a little bit of float time. It's sort of like in a Mega Man game. If you pause it and unpause it and pause it and unpause it a bunch, you float over a little bit because it resets your acceleration. So you can actually stretch out your flying time, and it's possible to make it across some gaps you're not supposed to be able to get to without wing upgrades. So yeah, you can indeed sequence break this.
But such a good game.
Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. The controls are great, and very enjoyable. Gets hard. It gets pretty hard towards the end.
Boy, howdy does it. I don't think I ever beat the game as a kid. I played the crap out of it though.
I would like to say, if anybody's up to race this blindly, please hit me up. I want to play this game so badly.
There you go, blind race with Axel.
It's worth playing for sure.
Cool. Well, congrats on Unusual Cook for running that excellent game and getting 2704.
Oh baby, this next one too.
All right. Well, Gilbert, why don't you read this off? It's more ghosts and ghost-related
Yeah, it's
stuff.
Ghouls and Ghosts on the PS2, any percent in 1535 by Aquas. He says, no more emulator shenanigans. This time I've beaten the Japanese runner Pika on the same PS2 arcade version of the game by 12 seconds. This was necessary because there were some differences between the actual arcade version and the PS2 port of it that changed the speedrun, so it was only fair to Pika here. This run has no unintentional deaths. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Shoutouts to Aquas. He's an amazing
seriously.
Ghosts and Ghosts. He's a monster, actually.
He really is. He's been on these runs lately. Been
Strangely
enjoying his stream
appropriate.
when I have time to catch it.
This strat is amazing, by the way.
Yeah, so we should point out that this is the arcade game, but this is the PS2 port of it that he's playing.
Mm-hmm.
It's very difficult. I mean, a lot of things that come from platformers that came as arcade games are often known to be quarter eaters. You know, just brutally difficult just for the sake of making you continue a bunch of times and pump in more money.
Yep.
So whenever I see people come along and 1cc their way through really hard arcade games, it makes me very happy.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a good feeling.
I wonder if he asked us to highlight the big jump.
I don't know.
Most likely he does that every time. So
Yeah.
He was just fighting an
Big
airman
jump.
right there.
We were hoping for old man percent one day, and it was unfortunately determined impossible. I can't remember what it was, the old man jump or something like that. They tried to get caught by the magic at the very last bit and make this gigantic jump. No,
I
big
think-
jump, Aquas, no, why?
I think he did it on the on which version? I don't remember. It was on.
Can't remember. I was watching him the other night. Like, it had been a couple of weeks ago now that he was like attempting to get that done.
Those pitchfork pigs just vomited all over the place.
Yeah,
Yes.
they'll do that.
Wow.
They drank too much or ate too, or both. Who knows?
Cool. All right.
Not
Well,
only a difficult game, but he takes damage boosts and damage boosts in a Ghouls and Ghosts game, which is pretty ballsy.
because you only get one hit with the armor, right? And then you're back to
Yeah, it
naked
doesn't matter
guy.
what kind of armor you have. You don't like phase back to an older armor. You just lose it all.
You lose it all. You go straight to
lose your
naked, and
power
that's
up
your
weapon,
last chance.
Yeah. So yeah, damage boost in a Ghouls and Ghosts game, that's risk.
Cool. All right. Well, we've got a whole bunch of Grand Theft Auto runs for us. Let's go through these here. Actually, want to take this first one?
Sure.
We'll split them up.
Yeah, well, the first one is Grand Theft Auto 3 for PC with any percent, with a time of 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 28 seconds by Chibu93.
Cool. Congratulations for the achievement for that. I'll take this next one. Yeah, this may not have been submitted by the runners directly. I think someone just put the latest round of GTA runs up. So the next one, I'll read this off here. Grand Theft Auto Liberty City Stories for the PlayStation Portable. Any percent run in 3 hours, 1 minute, 2 seconds by Odisic. And finally, Gilder, this last guy.
Absolutely, it's Grand Theft Auto Vice City on the PC, J version.
Is that actually? I don't know. It
I
could just
doubt
be
it,
anything
but
in the
still.
point. It's
Somebody's
probably
trying to
not.
start a new trend. No, it's PC Pal, damn it.
Right.
But any percent in 55 minutes, 50 seconds by, it looks like Mohammed FCC, I'm guessing, or MHMD FCC.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, good stuff. Bunch
Yes.
of GTA runs there.
Yes, and Vice City, very competitive speed game. You know, any percent's category that people have been working on for a long time. And it's pretty hard to get to the top of the leaderboards for this. So congratulations for doing that this week. Next game we have here is, wait, let's switch the page, is Joe and Mac for the NES. This is a time of 7:58 for any percent by Toad. Toad22484. This is a game that's in the Big 20 race that's coming up May 2nd. So a lot of players have been grinding out attempts of all the games in it, and this is one of them. Toad was the winner of the Big 20 race last time around, so I guess something about this game must have struck a chord with him. I believe the previous world record, we were looking through this record as we were doing the tutorial for this, and we saw all kinds of little minor things that could be done for time savings. So it didn't surprise me to see that somebody had beaten this record, because I kind of felt with so many people putting eyes on this game and putting time into practicing it that it was going to happen, and Toad was the guy who did it. So we'll see if that helps him in this upcoming race here, having Joe and Mac on lock the way he does. Next game, oh man. Who wants to read off this next one? This is an excellent game right here.
Oh, baby, I'll take some Karnov.
It sounds like your kind of game. Why don't you take this?
No, it's really not my kind of game. I'm terrible at it, but still. I did land on an NES roulette a couple of times on my stream, and boy howdy is this game awful. At any rate, it's Karnov on the NES, any percent, 904 by Dragon Dark. It says, still not quite my goal, but a solid run nonetheless. Lost some time from extra camera scrolling in a few stages, and some minor mistakes. However, I got a 3-cycle boss, which saves 5 seconds over my old strat, so I'm really happy this new strat is consistent. 902 or lower is the goal. So let's enjoy a highlight reel of NES Karnov.
Yeah, what he says about wasting time with scrolling, the screen cannot scroll both vertically and horizontally at the same time. So if you jump up too high or if you fall off something, the screen will stop moving side to side and it'll scroll up or down until it's like equalize itself, and then it'll begin scrolling again. So just jumping can slow you down. Yeah.
It's rude.
The screen just stops scrolling because it has to scroll vertically.
This game is such pants.
Right. So a lot of what's done is, a lot of the strats that are done are done just to get around that limitation. But the advantage is this scrolling trick lets you get your character all the way up to the very front of the screen. As long as you just keep jumping up and down, the screen will keep slowing down because it has to scroll up and then back down again. And meanwhile, you can advance to the front of the screen. So you'll see him, he's gradually making his way to the right. And that actually lets you get by the the spawn points of a lot of enemies and the triggers for some things.
Oh, that makes
so
sense.
you can avoid a lot of fighting just by screen control.
I do like that it's one of the games that doesn't stop your actual vertical jump even if you hit the ceiling. You just kind of like glide across the ceiling with it.
Yep, you still get the full amount of airtime even if you don't get any more height out of it. This is a really hard game. It's a 2-hit kill game, and it's pretty unfair level design, and it's just really it's a big challenge.
Unfair level design.
This game also in the Big 20 race. Dragon Dark was the record holder before that as well. It's just that I believe with Karnov getting some attention, he's decided it was time to go back and improve his record. But he says he wasn't particularly... oh wait, you gotta see this. Congratulations, the end. This is the ending of the game. So when you beat one of the more difficult NES games there is and you're expecting an ending to make it worth your while.
Nope.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, the end. Get out of here.
That's what you get. Anyway, so he hasn't hit his goal yet. 902 or lower is what he wants. I imagine he wouldn't be too unhappy to see it get like maybe an 859 or something. Cutting a minute barrier is always a goal for speedrunners. Congrats, Dragon Dark. Good luck on your future attempts of that. Next game we have here, Axel, why don't you read this off? This is an unusual game.
Yeah, this next one is Cube, or maybe I don't really know how to pronounce this one.
Cube.
Yeah. Oh wow, it's on PC, but it's in the PAL region.
Nope, that's a trick.
This is 70%, and the time is 27:37. Nice. By the runner Ethelon, and he says, "So the other day I got bored and decided to play this game for the first time in forever. While doing so, I found a new skip, which led to this new time I can read. As the new skip saves about 30 seconds, and this run is about 15 seconds faster than my previous one there is definitely optimizations to be done, and I will be working on getting a run I'm more satisfied within the coming days.
Good.
Cool. Yeah, this is a pretty neat game. It's like a 3D puzzle-ish game.
Yeah, Cube is really cool. Ethelon is a really cool runner. Definitely worth watching some of the runs.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay, next up in our list here, why don't I read this one? Let me start the video off. So this is Rockman EXE, the Wonder Swan version. Rockman EXE WS. Wonder Swan, I believe, is strictly Japanese. I'm pretty sure they're all Japanese games. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm not. Maybe it's not so. But this is Wonder Swan Japanese version. Any percent in 1321 by T-Terra-J42 says this is an 1107 in-game. A 7-second improvement over the previous record. This game has come a lot further than we thought it would. At only 6 seconds off my sum of bests, I'm quite happy with this run. The strats for every room have changed over the past year, being re-optimized for maximum bummer swag. Huge shout-outs to... okay. Shout-outs to Little Fat Kid for all his tricks that have made the run that much harder, but good luck beating that Bomb Man split.
Oh, it's burner swag, man.
No, it's bummer swag.
No, I just highlighted it. It's B-U-R-N-E-R.
It's bummer swag.
You wish it was bummer swag.
No, bummer swag.
It's burner, actually.
No, okay. This guy doesn't get it.
Oh, my bad. Bummer swag.
Oh, it's the Wonderswan color. That's right.
Yeah, that's what makes it burner swag instead of bummer swag.
Bummer swag.
Swearmeat got it. Hashtag bummer swag.
I love it. All right.
That's our raid message, by the way.
Bummer swag sounds good.
Hashtag
okay.
bummer swag.
All right. Any of you guys played Silhouette Mirage?
I have not.
No idea what that is.
Oh, then you're the
I can
perfect
read it
person to read this. Go for it.
Oh, well then, Axel. Please. Go ahead, Axel. You got it.
Okay, sorry. This one is Silhouette Mirage Repair and Hope on PlayStation 1. Any percent? 3759 by Chaos42666, which said, knew I was close to printing out the Sub 39. Had no idea a Sub 38 will be in store so soon. Lost some time to execution at the very beginning and the end of the run. Should have taken some of best Sub 35, but I didn't. Well.
Yep. So this is a fun game. I played this just a little bit, but it's just a lot of shooting things. It's a shooter.
Okay.
Platforming shooter, but it's got a lot of like sitting on vehicles and shooting
wait.
things, and then
I
boss
highlighted
fights.
this.
We've had this on the show before a number of times.
I'm starting to remember. It's like when you face a certain direction, you fire in like some method, and then you can turn around and like be a different character.
You're the
or
other
something along those lines.
color. Yeah, different character when you turn around the other way.
Yeah.
This looks nice, actually.
Yeah, it doesn't look terrible. I would play it. It's kind of like a cross between, I don't know, looks like half Mega Man, half Soden.
Yeah, I guess so. The gameplay is pretty linear, if I remember correctly, but it's
Okay, so it's not like the exploration type stuff.
not that aspect of Soten, but I suppose just the PS1 era platformers kind of have certain things in common in their look and feel. But anyway, congrats Chaos42666 for the 3759 run of that excellent game. Next thing we have coming up here... Oh, Gilder, you're probably a good person to read this off.
Spec Ops The Line? Sure, why not? It's Spec Ops The Line PC US.
US.
That's right. Take that, PC pal. USA. USA. Any percent in 152.03 by the Englishman. Wait a minute. Damn it, USA PC. What are you doing, you traitor? No, by the Englishman. Yes, it's another run of Spec Ops The Line, the game that dares to ask the player, how many Americans have you killed today? 5 or 6. This was a no-reset run I forced myself to do on Saturday after a whole week of not getting a good run past Chapter 5, but it definitely had its moments, especially between Chapters 7, 10, and 12. Unfortunately, I lost my chance at sub 150 with the dreaded yacht glitch, where a set piece on a sand-buried yacht in Chapter 13 sometimes fails to end properly, necessitating a checkpoint restart and costing 2+ minutes. On the plus side, my summon best is down to 144 now, so sub 150 should be around the corner, I hope. Oh, and for the TSSB crew, in case it's not clear in the video, I don't fire a single shot during the intense helicopter action segment. And yes, it's possible to do this even on the hardest difficulty. I just wanted to read that part because he said, intense helicopter action. In all caps, and I find that entertaining.
There's intense helicopter action.
I have not gotten to intense helicopter action yet. Hold on. I'm waiting. Oh, baby. Now get ready for some intense helicopter action. That is pretty intense, even without bullets.
Sure is. Wow.
Right.
So congrats to
Made
the
it through
English.
that helicopter action by the skin of my teeth.
Nice. Okay. So let's see. This next record we got here. This is and this is a big one. Why don't I read this off? But let me
go.
Yeah, let me start this clip so we can watch this.
This one was amazing to watch live, to be honest.
Oh, you saw this one live?
Yeah, I did.
Oh man, so this is Super Castlevania 4 for the Super Nintendo US version. Any percent is now down to 3205. Furious Paul is the runner. I believe he beat his own time here. Oh yeah, it says right here in the comment. This is 1 second faster than his previous personal best / world record. The STA timing is 3205.23. The new strats shown in the video include a new Stage 1 clip, the Stage 9 spike jump, and new ring strat on Stage A. The run had a 1-cycle Chandelier, 1-cycle Mummy, 7-cycle Slagra, 7-cycle Dracula, and...
That track.
Yeah, the Dracula. It's pretty amazing. But the quest for sub 32 continues. Still 5 seconds to be shaved off.
Yeah, this run can get really intense, to be honest.
Nice, and this is a highly competitive game. A lot of great runners for this right now. So,
oh yeah,
the fact that he's been able to continue to improve his record, no one's taken it from him, definitely speaks to how good Furious Paul is at this game. Yeah, and it's also a great stream to watch. I really enjoy watching some SCV4 streaming, and Furious Paul is a nice chill streamer.
Yes, definitely.
Nice. Cool. Let's see. Actually, you want to read off this next guy here?
Sure. This is the Great Circus Mystery starring Mickey and Minnie on SNES any percent hard. 2456 by Elicon, who says, "A lot of small mistakes, but at least a good run. We'll be back to improved hard after ESA."
All right.
Cool. All right.
Congrats.
Yes, congrats indeed. Oh, I like this next one for sure.
Oh, read it off for us, Gilder.
All right, cool. Next up, we have the Guardian Legend NES 100% in 117.18 by Zaki the Go Dragon. So this is the best run of this category I've had yet. Using a revised route and some better boss strategies, as well as getting a lot of good luck, I was able to save 33 seconds over my prior best, which I believe was last week, so that's an impressive time game.
I think so, yeah.
The green and blue Optimon fights went reasonably well. I was able to get one of the tougher quick exits from a mini-boss room when the game gave me a perfect mini-boss spawn, and my It fight was excellent. I also didn't use a single enemy eraser during the entire run, a first for me. I did have a menu issue or two, missed a quick exit, and had some brief walking issues, but way more went right in this run than I ever could have expected. Congrats, Zaki. Good stuff, man. This game is super cool, by the way.
Yeah, it's
another game that if you don't speedrun it, you should at least play it casually once in your life.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this game when I played through this the first time. But this is like a speedrunnable shmup. It's got shmup sections with pretty extensive boss fights, and then it's got sort of like an overworld...
Yeah, like a Zelda almost?
Yeah, it's sort of Zelda-like, yeah. Where you're just going around and exploring rooms in this like space dungeon, I guess you can call it. A lot of finding your way around. And this is the 100% run, so you're doing all the finding and collecting and really just, you know, exploring all of it. So, interesting run to watch if you like this game.
Yeah, but this game is freaking awesome. It is definitely hard. Like somebody in the chat just mentioned the game is hard, and yes, it is definitely a hard game. It's I mean, I say play casually. Be prepared to swear and throw your controller or something like that if you're that type of person. But yeah, it is a fun game. Really challenging. Good to play.
Man. He's got him. He's dead. I believe that was the final boss. Cool. Well, congrats, Zaki, on another improvement to the Guardian Legend 100%. Now, speaking of games that are pretty hard, yeah, well, this is a 100%-ish run, so that's sort of a segue. So this is Wizards and Warriors for the NES. What we're looking at here is the All Stages run from Dark Teryx in 2021. who says, did this just happen? I am ecstatic. Most everything went smoothly in the run. I used a new strat I found on accident in a prior submission to reduce some RNG in the last level, along with a new final boss fight. There were a few hiccups, like I lost 7 seconds in stage 3 due to missing a jump. The run is definitely improvable. I'm looking to get sub 20 at least in this category. So this is a time that's come down. It's come down a lot. It was 22 something just maybe like 3 weeks ago. It was in the 22-23 minute range, something like that. And all just within the last week, Terex improved this several times. I think this is his 3rd submission of the game this week. So you know, time is coming down a lot, and this one happened to have been, I want to say like a good 20-30 seconds faster than his previous best.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing, and a lot of it comes down to RNG in the last level. It's a lot of farming. That's the level where they don't give you enough gems, so you have to actually farm enemies in order to get enough gems to pass. Mm-hmm. This final boss, there's been a lot of discussion about what's the right strategy for this guy, because he's random. He can he can go all over the place. But we've experimented with different stuff in terms of screen control just to try to get more consistent behavior out of him. And so what you're seeing here is a certain like sweet spot that you can hover and attack in. And this is a boss that can take forever, because he might just decide he never wants to spawn. He could spend forever and not ever spawn on the screen for you. It's entirely possible.
It's pretty rude.
It's a very random ending to a pretty difficult speedrun.
Yeah. So
congrats, Darkterix, and having the stomach to go through that. But excellent work, and hopefully this will end up in SGDQ, and we'll see more and more of this run. I'm coming after all stages, though. Mark my words.
Bad Break's already called you out in chat.
Yep, I got it in there. Well, I've been so focused on any percent because I keep wanting to improve it. Mm-hmm. But speaking of that, boom.
You did.
I did. So any percent by myself in 12-12. So the any percent category differs from the all stages in that you don't actually have to beat the last few stages. You can do a warp in level 5 that takes you back to level 1, and then you can proceed to beat level 1, levels 1, 2, and 3 again instead of doing the last 4 stages of the game. Because all the game does is count the number of princesses that you've rescued. Actually, they're damsels. Only the last one is the princess. It counts the number of distressed damsels you have rescued, and it doesn't matter if you're rescuing the same one multiple times. So the fastest way is just to wrong warp back to level 1 and do those first few stages again, because it's pretty easy once you have a powered up guy with the floating and the levitation and the feather and all that. So 12-12 is the new time to beat, but it could easily go under 12 minutes. I think my sum of best is under 11:50.
Wow.
Yeah, but there's definitely some big elements of RNG in the run, and there's this stupid wall clip that you have to do in level 3, which just sometimes decides it doesn't want to work. So
I saw you get it first try on one where you're like, all right, well, we need the wall clip.
Yeah, yeah. Well, most of the time it works, except when I really want it to, and then it doesn't.
So plus the bat is a jerk.
Bat is a jerk. Yeah, the bat sometimes. I do kind of like a weak sauce strats against him that guarantees I'm going to beat him pretty much every time.
That's good then. At least there's something that you can make consistent about it.
Something, yeah, somewhat. Cool. Well, that's it. That's our records.
We have wrapped them up.
We have wrapped them up. We had an excellent crop of games this week. Really, it's going to be hard to top that. I think we'll never ever do a record section as good as this one again. What do you think?
I doubt that.
No? Okay.
Well, so long as speedrunners keep submitting records to us at tssbreak.com/submit.
That was a challenge. Next week, you got to make these records even better.
Yeah, get to it.
Gilder knows that you can do it. I don't think you can. I don't think that you're going to be able to get better records than this.
I have faith in you. All of you. I'm pointing at my screen as though you can see me doing that.
Right.
And it is a stern pointing to. Cool. Don't listen to Fiesel. He just wants all the world records for himself. You get to work.
Anyway, if you have records, please go submit them to us. We have a website, tssbreak.com, where we have info about all this stuff, but tssbreak.com/submit to send us your runs. You can also check out all the runs and runners that you heard about today on our links page, tssbreak.com/links. And let's see. Do we want to do... Let me hit the record split officially. Do we want to talk about any announcements? Is there anything coming up that we want to plug? Anybody know of any events? If anyone wants to type any announcements in the chat, we'll read them off. And if not, we should start talking about who we're going to stream raid.
We should, and we do have that raid message.
We do have it. So a couple things. The SGDQ second round of cuts, which is going to be the final round, was supposed to be finished by this weekend, but it looks like it's extended until Tuesday, so we're going to have to wait to see what ends up in SGDQ. We have the Big 20 race coming up on May 2nd. 20 NES games raced back-to-back. Last time there was over 40 people that joined, maybe close to 50, something like that. A lot of people joined. So this time I imagine it's going to be even bigger, so check that out on twitch.tv/bestofnes if you want to watch that.
Absolutely.
Let's see.
You mentioned that we will be playing 3 minutes of ads at the end of the stream, and it would be really awesome if y'all would leave your stream open. You can mute it. Don't have to listen to the ads.
You can mute it and then go get a milkshake and eat pizza, which is what I always do while ads are playing.
Absolutely.
Nice. And then, let's see. Why don't you... Gilder, you have any suggestions for stream raids?
Hold tight. Please,
oh, he's good.
Please hold. Your Gilder is in another building.
All right, he's going to get right on this. Sounds good.
Yes, I'm looking on it. Hold on.
Axel, is there anybody you want to shout out or anything you want to announce or promote? Or say hello to anybody?
Well, I want to give a shout outs to the speedrun community in general, because it's a pretty friendly community compared to other game communities, because instead of a competition between people and actually fighting for times, it's a competition against yourself. It's always your fault, and it's always your own time. It's your own way of motivation to get a better time. And I will actually invite people to if they are interested in a speedrun, they should definitely give it a try. Just a short NES game or even a short arcade game, just give it a try. Speedrun is actually a pretty nice hobby. It's pretty fun. And join the IRC. Why not? The community is pretty amazing.
What's the IRC channel?
Well, you can join on the IRC of Speedruns Live, which is irc.speedrunslive.com, and you can join from you can find all the info about the channel on speedrunslive.com.
Okay, sounds good.
Absolutely. Well, since we've been talking about the Big 20, round 2, I do believe that Yogi the Monk is doing Big 20 number 2 practice and a full run.
Oh wow, you get to see all the games. That sounds good. Yogi,
want a little bit of a preview of what the Big 20 might look like? How about we all go raid there? Here's your raid message. It is #BummerSwag.
#BummerSwag. Wow, we invented some great stuff this time. BummerSwag.
We sure did.
Rings-eyed.
Rings-ide.
I like Rings-ide, yeah.
All right, so here is your raid target. Head over there.
Wow.
We'll be hosting him after the commercials run. But don't be lazy. Head over there and say BummerSwag at him. And I believe with that,
it is time. Yeah, it's time to go. Good night, everybody.
We'll meet again. Don't know when. Okay.
We should sing that at the end of each of these shows.
I know it.
Okay, well, thanks for watching, guys. We'll catch you next week.
Sunday sequence break.